We human beings, like some other mammals, like dogs, cats, or many birds, their survival entirely depend on others' care, particularly mother's care. So we human beings, our very life starts that way. So as soon as we're born, our first sort of deep experience and happy experience is mother take care and provide us her milk. So at that time, the child no sort of idea who is that person. But biological factor, tremendous sort of trust. And when mother is taking care, there's a tremendous sort of feeling of joyfulness. So that's the way our life starts. And those people who received maximum affection, maximum care from our parent, particularly our mother, the whole life, their emotion in deep insight, much stable, much happier, more secure than those people who, at early period of their childhood, lack of affection. One time in Poland, and many years ago, I think my first visit, there one sort of orphanage. They describe these children are unwanted children. So really terrible. Of course, because of forced parents are there. A foster parent, eventually, I think, can become real parent. Then maybe different. Otherwise, it's very difficult. And particularly those child who at an early age, you see, experience of abuse like that, I think whole their rest of life, some problems. And the physical sort of health, also some connection. So in that connection, I always was happy to mention my own case. My parent, illiterate, uneducated, just a villager, farmer, but very, very compassionate. Particularly my mother. Father sometimes quite often lose temper. But my mother really, almost we never saw on her face some kind of negative face. We never saw. And her sort of compassionate attitude, not only towards her own children, but other children also, particularly those children of beggar. She very much sort of showing concern, love. Or sometimes I also, you see, share my own sort of stupid experience. You know, since my mother so much love to me, as usual, very young sort of child, carrying by mother on shoulder. So then, I usually used to hold two ears of my mother. I want to go this side. Well, at this side, go like that. If mother didn't listen, then I cry, and my leg pumping. I think I really was acting like a naughty boy, or stupid, spoiled child. So, I believe that experience, I think, really imprinted in my mind deeply. So perhaps I think my own sort of amount of compassion. Of course, later, Buddhist sort of practice also, you see, immense sort of help. But the very seed of that come from my mother. Then, because emotional level, no matter how difficult it is, but in deep inside, some kind of open heart, compassionate heart. That brings inner strength, less fear. That also very important for body element. So now this is number one reason. Everybody come from our mother. All have same seed of compassion. No question. Nobody can argue that. The second, using our common sense. Whether east, west, south, north, any human group or human family where more compassionate atmosphere, affectionate sort of home, always much happier. And your neighboring families, the family where often anger dominant, or I say jealousy dominant, no peace, no happy atmosphere. Where the family which full of affection, full of trust, full of friendship, much happier. That happiness cannot bring by money. Rich family, these basic human value lacking, not necessarily happy. Poor family, material facility poor, but these basic human values, they are much happier. So that's using our common sense. Then, third reason. Now, scientific sort of finding, latest scientific sort of finding, constant fear, constant anger, hatred remain here, actually eating our immune system. Some scientists say that. Calm mind, compassionate mind, sometimes even increasing this positive body element. So therefore, I often used to mention one occasion, I think 10, 15 years ago, one occasion in New York area, one sort of meeting with scientists. Now that kind of meeting, now since last, I think more than 30 years, we have, you see, we're carrying using that kind of sort of discussion or dialogue. So one occasion, one doctor in his presentation, you see, he mentioned those people who often use word I, mine, me like that, there's greater chance of heart attack. He didn't explain. Then I thought, oh, it may be true, because you see, the person who often you see come his or her mouth these words, It's simply a reflection of their thinking. Of course, the one way that person is a little bit quite honest. So what he or she really feels to express. But sometimes we quite clever. It's a real feeling always hiding and use few nice words. So you're the person who often come these words, his or her in deep feeling, I is the center. Self-centered attitude. So with that, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes I describe our inner door closed. So with that feeling, difficult to communicate with other people, other fellow human beings, which your successful life depends on them. But towards that, you feel a little distant. So that brings in deep inside sense of insecurity, sense of loneliness. That brings blood pressure increase, too much stress, too much anxiety. So heart attack come. So therefore, using these three sort of reasons, we can develop. Using the third, these three, secular way, not talking about religion, not talking about next life or heaven, simply how to be happy human being, how to be happy human family. Money alone, no.